All right. Islam and welcome to Moorish Heritage University School. I just wanted to give a brief announcement. This is not a pre-report. However, what we're going to do is play a bit of the conversation, the functioning and section that went down between RVBey and Netta a few years ago, and the conversation is interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that, a little bit of that, while we get set up, and instead of there being there, at least we have conversation that you can listen to and gain some information on. You may receive that the pieces of this conversation featured in the Pharaoh Army video that the Misery did, and you may have caught the entire conversation on YouTube. But we're going to play a little bit of it, and so listen, take some notes, and you will.
Peace, Queen. How you doing?
I'm just fine, and I'm honored and much appreciate being here. Thank you.
Well, you know, I always tell you how beautiful you are. You know, you are a beautiful sister.
Thank you.
All right. First question I have for you, my sister, is that what are some of the misunderstandings of the Moorish history that our people really need to understand?
Wow, that's bad.
Just going on.
It's just so bad.
Right.
Because, you know, like, wow. The main thing is people don't know anything about their nationality or birthright, or that they are a Moor. Or, well, let's start with what is a Moor. You know, that would be the first thing. It's like, what is a Moor? What is, you know, like, they'll say all this stuff about more. I mean, it is the manifestation of the being into the flesh, the being who travels upon the waters of the earth, but first beginning in the waters and also the land of the earth, but beginning in the waters of their mother's womb. When you look up the word Moor, it just doesn't mean a noun. It's actually an action. So it means that since man is mind and we're all spirit, and then we come into the flesh, so we travel upon the 7 stages of development in the waters of the mother's womb. That's mooring, right? And then when we're done, we get cut from the navel, which is navigating L, and then we become navigating L's upon the earth plane. So you start there. So if that was understood and accepted, there would really be no problem, because people say, well, I don't have to be anything to be whatever. Well, I just explained to you what that is. It means that you came through the womb and you were mooring, and you were mooring through the 7 stages of the waters and the 7 stages of development in your mother's womb. And then you didn't have to be called anything, because that's just what it is. So those who actually call themselves Moors are actually saying, I'm not anything except that I am. That's really what's being said. So that's the first misunderstanding.
Right.
What about the misunderstanding of Moors being a group?
No.
Or organization, or a movement or crew. Because many people say, I'm not down with the Moors, or I'm not a Moor. They attribute it to a card-carrying group.
Right. Well, first of all, you know, in all of this, we got at some point get into what Prophet knows earlier, because that's something to really clear up. But first of all, when people say, I'm not down with the Moors, I'm not, what are the Moors doing? Well, they need to look at themselves and say, what are you doing? Because you're a Moor, whether you recognize it or not. Again, just giving the explanation of what that is.
From the militant aspect of it, like the militant, quote-unquote, so-called militant group that's out there, a lot of them seem to can't get with the Moors because they say they are integrationists. integrationalist, meaning that y'all don't mind white people being
okay,
white people can come amongst you.
Okay.
Let's talk more about that as well.
Well, the first thing,
because our people still dealing with the black and white issue.
You just answered it. But be honest with you, you just answered it. They're dealing with the black and white issue, which is absolutely a farce and has nothing to do with these issues. That's the problem. This black and white issue is what was set before them to deal with, to be a diversion. All right. Now I'm gonna tell you what I think about the what you call militant, but they're really the warriors. I would say without a cause, because this is the cause. The cause is to protect family. And that starts with mother and the children. But now, as far as this black and white, go back to that because it's important, is that was what was placed in the front. And what we need to recognize is that so-called white people, because we got to stop. You know what? We're saying that we got to stop calling ourselves black. But equally, once you understand that, you got to stop calling these people white. Not just because white is the political status, or white means purity, and purity means God, and God is the ruler of the earth. It's because they're not white people. Period. If it goes for us, it goes for them. Now, their nationality, they gave it up when they came over here to try to take your stuff, your land, your estate. They had to give up their nationality to become a United States of America citizen, which is a corporation. Now, let's get straight with why that's important. If it's a corporation and you are a citizen / member of a corporation, there's nothing for you to be but a employee / servant of a corporation. There's no other nothing there to be. It's no such thing as that. Because the whole deal was to birthright theft. The whole deal was, where's my land that for them? The whole deal was like, this is really the quote unquote promised land. This is really the quote unquote heart of civilization. This is really what you might call Northwest Africa. That's what, and I say that to people so they can stop saying I'm going back to Africa and understand that they're in it.
It's the Garden of Eden.
It's the Garden of Eden.
That's what they had in Columbus's journal when they arrived.
Absolutely. So what has happened is absolute lie.
Milk and honey.
That's right. And the land of milk and honey is another terminology. So these things are important because as you're doing studies and you read books, well, however old they may be or whatever like that, and if it says the land of milk and honey, you need to know they're talking about the North American continent. If you don't know that, then you miss it. And that's part of our problem. That part of our problem is the miseducation. We have been lied to.
I want to go back to what you were saying earlier about the nationality concept. There are brothers and sisters that are claiming that they're sovereign, that they have, driver's license and still have slave names. So can you please explain or clarify for those brothers and sisters out there that, they are following the concepts of sovereignty, but if you are a national, you are a U.S. citizen, it can only be property or 14th Amendment citizen. How does that contradict with your claim for sovereignty?
Well, first of all, and this is absolutely, unequivocally, most important, you do not have sovereignty if you don't have a nationality.
None.
No.
It comes first.
It comes with it.
Exactly.
In other words, sovereignty doesn't stand on its own. It comes with nationality.
Yeah.
So the unity for everybody is nationality. Everybody got one. What's yours?
So what if there's an organization that says that they have a nation?
Okay, an organization that says they have a nation. First of all, nations start with women. Yeah. That's number one, coming from her womb. She is the one who creates nations. So there's a bunch of some brothers, sons somewhere talking about they started a nation. That's corporate. That's fictitious. In fact, this whole thing about nationality wouldn't even be a thing if it wasn't for the fact that people respected and honored their mothers and fathers from the first place. Because one mother's breast had given us all stuff. One mother's breast had given us all stuff. One.
I want you to go into this whole thing of dealing with sovereignty. Okay. What is it to be a sovereign?
To answer this question, then people might wake up and realize that the police are not the authority. Because you can't say that you're born free and that you can't say, in other words, if you knew that government starts with family, society starts with family, and so does And my son used to always tell me this, and I got it. So does the authority of government with family. So who could be out across walking the earth plane, Tara? Who could be out walking here that has an authority over you? If in fact you have a right from birth to do whatever you want to do, provided you do not infringe on someone else's right to the same. That's the order of society. That's what should be taught. That's what should come out of the household into family. When does the police, now let's let me want to really talk about that.
Yeah,
you need to recognize that the police are policy enforcers, first of all. They are policy enforcers. So how do they get, who are they? Who hired them? They're corporate employees. And you look at the state law that says that police are there to protect the interests of the corporations. Hello? So whatever they're doing, it ain't meant for you. And all these warrior sons out there, if they could just get this, and I know they will, and I know the next generation coming, standing, still living right now, breathing right now, will have it because they have no right and authority over the human family. Our problem is lack of knowledge and the intended deceit and trickery done, because even those who read the Biblios healer text that you call the Bible says he shall fool even the most believed. So even those who think they're highly educated and this and that, they've been fooled. That's it. It's not really complicated. Now, as far as that, I mean, that's really explains everything. It begins with family. And the Constitution is written based on the spiritual, it's a spiritual document. It's the most spiritual document that exists, even though it wasn't written for Moor. Because the authority was from the people of the land that wrote it to keep other citizens and people in check from violating you. And at minimum, if we were to enforce that, we would be in much better shape. My goodness, much better shape. Now, Black Panthers, right? In case you would bring that up, I would bring that up because some people do that. Well, they had, you know, they were in the courts with guns. Yep, but they had one problem.
What was that?
They called themselves Black, and it's just that simple. And even though that may not have been coming into play as heavy, they have all been set up to steal your birthright. That means your right to birth. That means the right for you to just be here and breathe and do what you do and co-create with the universe. That's what's being stolen. And then when you take it to another level, to steal the land so that you can't feed yourself. To say that you got to buy that which is really your estate and inheritance. So when you look at it that way, they knew they would kick in the fact that, oh, they got guns here. They're allowed to have firearms. They kick in that you're 14th Amendment citizen. But they ain't going to tell you that. They're not going to sit there and tell you, we got jurisdiction over you because you just said that, you know, your name was, you just said, I live at. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to roll over you like you weren't there because that's the name of the game, because jurisdiction means the right to speak.
Mm-hmm. How do one determine their nationality?
From their mother.
But how do you know that you
one
are
mother's
Moor?
breast has
How do you know you are Moor, what tribe you come from, without taking DNA tests?
Okay, fine. I'm going to straighten that out for you. First of all, we're going to take the word tribe. Let's get it straight. Tribe is nothing but a family name. That's it. People keep wanting to take this word tribe and make it like, I'm from this tribe and this nation and I'm from that tribe. Get it straight. Tribes are family names of the same people from the same nation. And Moors, if we could get back to the definition that I gave in the beginning, then we would get it. Then we would have it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, beautiful. Does race mean nationality or skin color?
Skin color doesn't mean anything because there's no such thing as skin color other than the terminology. It doesn't matter of what degree of melanin you have. And that's one of the things that people have done is they have determined, they have divided up people like crayons with skin colors and so on. So race is this. There's only one race, and that is the human race. And within that human race are different nationalities. And the nationalities are determined from the mother. And now to get into that, because see, one mother's breast that really gives you stuff. That's why, as you may have recently heard about, I think it was a so-called Chinese national that said that he did his DNA, and he's going to prove that, he's a pure Chinese. And when they did the DNA, it came back to Africa. Because it's only one, the Moabite African woman is the mother of civilization in terms of this human family. Period. There's nothing else, and then everything else is in between that. And then when we did the experiments or whatever, which could be a different thing, now our son started reading into those, and that became a different side. Now, the whole thing is about the matriarch. No, that's another thing. It's about it's really all about family. It really is.
If you had the power, and you do, to correct, quote, Black history, unquote, where would you start?
I would start where they started, and I would say to people, if you believe that your history started on a slave boat, I can guarantee you that's where it ended too. That's what I would say. Then, after saying that, and so believe me, go back and do some studies past the 1700s, and I'll guarantee you, as sure as you're sitting there listening, or wherever you are, watching, listening, you will find nothing but the word Moor, and that's another thing. Because we work on black. The description, maybe, Black or Moor or whatever, but that's it. Know the difference between a description and an actual, person, place, or thing, noun. I mean, really, who were the British? They were the brutish Moors. And if there's anything that could be added to this guy about this, is that we were fighting each other. The European never had nothing to offer, never had nothing to give. It was us fighting ourselves. And we've proven that the British were the brutish Moors, with the pictures that we show of King George. And then, I put it up on the site, and they wanted me to qualify. I got somebody writing, I think they were Europeans too. Your site is great, except for when you put up pictures like this and you don't verify the source, then it diminishes it. So we scurry to make sure that I got the right source, and it's in a museum in London.
I heard a lot of scholars. I heard a lot of teachers teach that the word Moor really means black.
Well, the word Moor doesn't really mean black, but if you were to deal with things, anybody who was a Moor at a time, the description of them was black. That's just like saying black. Yeah, it really was copper-colored people. And when you're dealing with people who have no melanin, copper, the definition of American, which is a Moor, Al Morocco, America. This is it, right? It says copper-colored people. The various copper-colored people. The various. That's the true definition of American. You can find it in Webster's 1935 dictionary. That's the true definition. So anything that's not quote-unquote pale skin, because see, remember now, the so-called Indians supposed to be the real Native Americans. No, Moors are Native Americans. Yeah. Look at that.
And if the rest of one mother giving us up, that's what determines right there.
Right.
I want to be very copper-colored people. I always been called people say, "Are you Indian?" all my life. And but here's the thing: the Indian is supposed to be the Native American,
right?
But this is not Indian. Moors are Native American, but some don't want to call themselves Native Americans because it's been given to the so-called Indians. Well, bring it back, because you have to bring it back, because until you come right, it ain't going to get right.
Let's go back to slavery right quick.
Yes, I did want to.
Why do you think the Moors, the historical Moors, enslaved the European, the so-called white man, and do you think it is now just coming back to us? Why did they have to put them in slavery?
Because they wanted the European to remain enslaved. Because the Europeans were Slavic, they are the original slaves.
But why? They didn't see them as human?
They weren't. They were mixed with the DNA of animals.
Wow, you gotta go into that. Like, what kind of animal?
The chimpanzee. The Negro, Negro. Negro, Yavara, chimpanzee. The true Negro is them.
Now, I'm going to tell you.
Woo! And so many people have this argument. Well, wait a minute, if we're all Moors, no, they're not us. But here's the deal, and we got to go to HARLEM now. Because, see, we've already done it. And the only way, the way they came is the way they're going to go. It's called the blending back. So when you see brothers and European daughters together or whatever like that, that's what's happening. It's the blending back. Now, the other thing that goes with that is that at one time, that's how this thing came, because women vibrate higher than men. So as we were doing this, the men were more sickly and like that. You know, they died, the European sun. But the women were not, because women are always vibrating higher. They have 100% of the DNA, etc. And so they were having babies at like 14. You know, so that wasn't a long time for a quote-unquote generation. And so the sons were the ones put in the cave. That's why they called them, you know, the caveman, and they came out of there doing bestiality and all that, because they had no women, because you had the women. Now, the son treated the women, the European daughters, pretty good. They would call that, but they still wanted to revolt, and that is what the American Revolution was about. The daughters of the American Revolution. What did they have to revolt against? They had to revolt against being in the harem, or in concubines in the harems of the Moorish sons. Now that's real.
And it was the children of
the children
of the European women that revolted against their fathers. They
exactly
against the Moorish fathers.
Right, because see, nationality and inheritance comes through the mother, not the father. Never. He's the steward. And when we get that straight, we'll be straight.
But don't the father determine the seed?
No,
you are what your father is. You saying that you are what the mother is?
You, Saneta, are what your mama made you. You got to believe. And anything short of that is dishonor to your mother.
Inside of the sperm, there's intelligence.
No.
There's light.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But let me put it to you.
Okay.
The seed is not your sperm. That's the first thing that has been told. That's a lie. The seed is the seed of thought. That's the seed. All right? So walking around thinking the seed is what comes out of my penis, you know, when we have sexual intercourse, is incorrect. Not only that whatever comes out of there was given to you by your mother, or not. And we can have another interview on that.
You know what? This is interesting, because I was interviewing a few people on this same topic. They brought it up. And the brother said that the egg that's inside is just a dead egg until that life.
Okay,
because
all right.
we carry the life in it that strikes the egg.
Carry the spark of life.
Right.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Okay.
So check it out. I'm glad you said it and you put it on the table. All that is needed, every daughter that is born with enough eggs in her womb to create a nation. All that those eggs need, and there's some that don't need it, is a spark of electricity. And your sperm offers a spark of electricity. But that's not the only way to get the spark. You better believe that. That's why they have intravenous, where they put it in the centrifuge and it's gold line, because gold is a spark.
Please don't tell me you believe or you subscribe to the teaching that a woman could give birth without being touched by a man.
Yeah, well, she most certainly can. And if you would like to have an interview on that and give you all the science on it, you most certainly can, because that's what parthenogens were for.
Parthenogens.
Yes, that's what parthenogens, which is a building that the women went to, and they give all the credit to Greeks. That's not Greek pathogen.
Can you show me one woman on the planet that has brought forth a child without being...
Amazon women always do it. The amazing women, they always do it. You know, that's the truth. And that's South America. I ain't got to laugh now.
And in biology, something called autofecundity in biology.
Yeah, that's true. It's in biology.
Well, Natural Child Hootie gonna love this right here.
And also, like you said, the daughters now who don't have mates, they don't have men as mates, are being artificially inseminated and having birth.
Yeah.
You know, without the use, they're utilizing sperm, but without men.
No, but that's
but the other reason why women aren't doing that as often is because of we're not taking care of ourselves in terms of eating right and fiber. Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir. Okay. You got another question?
What is the woman's role? What is the science of woman in government?
Oh, she's the lawgiver. She lays down the law. I'll give you an example in a very intrinsic way. When you were born in your household, your mother laid down the law. Women run houses. If you ever, and the father enforces it. Thank you. If you ever find a house, that's right.
I said that because I was about to say something else.
Yeah, but you only enforce that which was laid down.
I agree with what he said.
Yeah, you only enforce. See, that's the whole thing. People think that when we give this information and we're trying to disrespect or throw out the son. No, everything has to be in order because without that, then it becomes a real problem. But I've met women that say, yeah, the man runs the house, and I'm saying, well, that's a messed up house because there's no man that runs the house. I mean, if he is running the house, ain't nothing happening. It ain't right. It's not right because she's the lawmaker, the lawgiver, and you're the law enforcer. So that's the way that goes. Now she want to make you pretend that.
I think I got to hide that part from my wife.
I bet you do.
Because you're the lawmaker in the house.
Well, then we need to talk because
we need to talk.
You got children.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but the law that you're laying down is her law. Is it the law from your mother?
We both agree with it.
So you make law. You can't make law. I'm going to tell you why you can't make law.
Tell me why.
Let me tell you why you can't make law. Because the moment that you're born, anybody, that is all law manifested in the flesh. Your law when you give me. And she lays it down. And it's just that simple. Law, land, angle, and where? Back to the slavery thing before we move on.
Yeah.
And I told you I would start at the slave boats. But if you were to have someone who was a scientific mind or a scientist who could break it down scientifically, then they would also approve without a shadow of a doubt that was not possible to bring across slaves like that in that form with no water on the boat. What they show you was the slave boat scientifically can be proven didn't exist. They don't even find a piece of the slave boat because it didn't happen that way. We were coming over on ships long before that, and we came when we felt like it. And also, they would also give the scientific for what they say, where if you didn't have water, where would the water be in this boat that you say is the slave boat? The water would weigh more than the boat, and you can't travel that far without stopping. And then if you did stop at ports, whose ports were you stopping at? Because they weren't yours, Europeans, if they were already existing. So I wanted to...
Why do you think they came out with that type of teaching? Was it to really enslave the minds of us or put fear into our heart? When we look at these stories, was it really to put the fear into?
Oh, absolutely. That was part of it. And the other part, and the real reason behind it is to steal your birthright.
The
birthrights come with the land.
Now, you're not saying we wasn't mistreated. Like when you see them pictures with the slashes and all.
Oh, no. Let's clear that up.
You're saying that in slavery didn't go down.
Let's clear that up.
Yeah, do that.
Of course we were enslaved. The important thing is to know that we are not the slaves. Slavics were the slaves.
There you go.
Now, did these things happen where they castrated us and they enslaved us? Absolutely.
Right.
After certain fear, and then I'm going to tell you, sisters, after the generations in the womb was fearful, and she began taking out the reverse, which was their plan, in terms of the sons and the daughters. Which is why it can only be fixed through her.
Can you explain that we were at war with the Europeans for generations, and as a result of the spoils of war was the enslavement of those that they didn't kill, during the war.
The orphans were really the spoils.
Yeah, the orphans and the women were the spoils of war, who were in turn captured, put on plantation and enslaved, and these are the slaves that they, these are your slaves.
Well, actually, to add to that and to get straight, we were at war with each other first.
Yeah.
See, we can't war with Europeans. Yeah, and that's why all of this happened. No, we were at war with each other first. The British Empire is Moor, the brutish Moors. We're the Moroccan Empire. That's why they say the sun never sets on the Moorish Empire because it's on both sides.
And that kills the argument of we was living in peace and harmony before the so-called white man got there.
No, but we were. We were, because this is the land of milk and honey. This is the Garden of Eden. This is the paradise. This is where we would come on ships to chill out. And we might be laying up with no
clothes. We were at war with each other.
No, that became so. We were first we were always at war with each other. You're right.
Yes,
you're right.
Europe,
you're right.
at war
you're
with
right.
each other.
But it didn't cross over here.
Yeah, different dynasties in Europe were at war with each other, and that's during the whole Reconquista, the reconquering of Europe. But the different dynasties had power struggles amongst themselves.
Yes.
The Almoravids,
the Almoravids,
and all the
Almohades,
and whatnot.
All Moors
was clashing with each other. The last conflict with Boabdil, Muhammad X, he went to war with his uncle, therefore crossed his uncle, and that's when King Ferdinand and Isabella were able to use him, because he was a vassal of their jurisdiction, to cross, to give up the keys to Alhambra, and that's when they came and conquered us. So when you study history, you will find that there has always been internal conflicts. The Europeans seized that opportunity to come within.
They get the spoils of the war.
They get the spoils of the war. Now, this also happened in South America amongst when Pizarro came in Peru. There was a conflict going on in the Incan Empire that they were able to basically come in on and use the weakening of the end. So this is military tactics.
Yeah.
This is military tactics called divide and conquer. They utilize it to this day.
Now, if someone believes they're black, they can believe they're black. If someone believes that black is the skin color, they can believe that it's the skin color. But belief is not knowing. And then the other is the nationality. No, if it's a nationality, nationality comes with the land. It comes with the Constitution. Constituencies. It comes with usually a flag, which is a flag of the people. It comes with a seal. You understand what I'm saying? It comes with 5 things. And then the people itself. So it's not a nationality. There's no Blackadonia, Negrodasia. Doesn't exist. It's not a part of the family of nations. It's not a part of the human family. Now I'm going to give you a little story about black, and you can try this out with your child. It happened to me before I even knew anything about being a Moor. And this was my child. I'm going to put him on the spot, but truly, 5 years old. And I told him we were black. And my son looked at his sneaker. 5. He looked at his sneaker and he looked at me. And he said, Mom, I can't be black. If I was black, I'd look like my sneaker. He wasn't buying it. Just logical stuff that comes out of the mouth and face, and he was absolutely correct. So, black is not a nationality. Black is not a skin tone. Now, I know some people whose skin tone is so heavily melanated they look real dark. But even so that would be the extent if you wanted to say that, but that would be it. But it ain't nationality.
To add on, in context, when you break it down etymologically, it is actually a skin color, but it needs to be affirmed of who it applies to, because the word black means bleach. That's what it means. And bleach means pale. So the Europeans are actually the black men. And what they did was they switched our identity. They stole our identity, or actually stole our minds. So now they're saying they're proud to be Americans, when American applies to the copper color, copper complexion people, which is us, and we saying we black. So it's a verbal and mental agreement for a status change. But in reality, black is not an identity. It's a status. It's a legal status, but it is the lowest form of any type of legal status.
Now, see, that's very important when you say black is a legal status.
Yeah.
Because now, when you say things like black is really the white man, that is confusing.
But I'm not saying.
Hell.
But I'm not saying.
And
that
our
black,
people is going to try to get at you for that.
That's fine.
So you got to really clear that up. What you saying, brother?
I got you. One, I'm not saying that the white man is the black man.
Right.
I'm not saying
that's
that.
why I said
I'm saying that black etymologically means pale. He's not a white man. First off, that's the first thing. We have to come out the context that he's the white man. He's not white. You know, he's a Paleolith. So when you're speaking of black people, you're talking about the Paleolith. That's who they are. Now, when we don't have understanding of that, it's going to be, it seems offensive or like you're saying something real wild. But you can do the math on this. The word black means pale. Bleach, black, same exact thing.
What year in American history did Europeans begin to refer them to themselves as the actual color?
In the 1800s, in 1870, they had a naturalization act. This is in the Law Dictionary. 1870 is when they had the naturalization act, to where that's when they first lawfully on paper started being called white people.
Yeah.
After that naturalization act, but you got to understand, nationalization and naturalization are two different processes.
Yeah.
So whenever you have to naturalize somebody, one, the first attribute is they have to be an alien. All right, they can't be the natives to the land and be naturalized. So essentially, these foreigners was, you know, legally incorporating, stealing our status, not our identity, our status, which the word white means God, God means purity, white means purity, purity means God, God means ruler of the land. We the true landlords, you know what I'm saying? And their whole agenda was to get us out of that status. So what did they do? They said that, you know, they took the babies from the mothers, you know, told them you a nigga. Now, this is your name, you black. They don't have no connection to the culture at this point. So they come up, they think that's what they do. That's who they are. And they crossbreed and give that to the next generation. And then they come up and thinking that that's who they are. Now, mind you, at these times, you know, we was getting lynched and hung for reading. So it wasn't like, I'm going to go to this book and find out. Like, it wasn't cut off from that. You know what I'm saying?
Does anybody have any information on the Whittemore party?
Yeah. Most certainly. Those was the Europeans. Like, I don't know if you remember, like, them old cartoons they'll show, or them old flicks where they'll show the magistrates with the wigs on.
Yeah.
If you even watch Sleepy Hollow, those were the Europeans who was practicing our science. That's why it was called Whittemores, but they'll put on the wigs and wear the ankhs, you know what I'm saying? And they say that this was their talisman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they was actually mocking or trying to be the white people, the free white persons, which are really us. And I'm not saying because the white,
right, I know what
you know what I mean?
Right, you dealing with status.
Yeah, because
make sure y'all hear that. We dealing with status right now.
Yeah, because I actually
you talking to some of your friends that was like you were back in the day, right? You trying to tell them, right?
But we're speaking to freshmen, and it's understood. This is a senior lesson.
Okay.
I saw an article where it had Selassie, Haile Selassie, the emperor of Ethiopia, referred to as a white man. Now, we know that they weren't speaking of it in his color, you know what I mean? They weren't referring to it as his nationality, but when he arrived in the Americas, his status afforded him the...
All right, there it is. Now, that was an interesting conversation that was just being shared. I just got to make sure that I'm okay with the sound because of the room that we're in. They changed the room, kind of like this room because it's sort of intimate and close, but at the same time, the acoustics are terrible, so I just want to know that my acoustics are right because I'm using this lapel mic, so I'm waiting to make sure. Yes, is the acoustics okay? All right. All right. So now I see you. Thank you very much. You don't know. Thank you. Old school Moorish science. Brother Ali, give him a hand. And let's say that he's been, since we started these classes 2006 at the theater, and even on the 125th, correct? You can come around on 125th. And you were there when we first came on 125th when we were standing.
I was the bed. She was the bed that time when you were starting to do that.
Yeah, 128.
Yeah, right.
126 feet.
Right, no, right here. In the room.
a phone call. We've never had that happen unless it has something to do with this room again because it has strange acoustics. But yeah, so you've been there for a while. You've been and you were in Great Field, what year? 1983. So you definitely have some information about how it is or is supposed to be, and also you recognize how it is not, and it is not what it is supposed to be. Oh my God! My phone keeps dropping out. So therefore, if that happens again, I'll use yours. All right, peace and love. I'm on again. Yeah, make sure it's on now. Make sure that I'm on now because it looks solid now. It looks solid now. I don't know why it keeps dropping out unless it's on the other end. So the question was also asked about attorneys, and also you mentioned that we couldn't be a member of the Christian Union States or Union States with the Christians.
Of the Union Society, of the Union States, right? Therefore, they may not be for or drafted into the Union Society or military service to fight for the Magna Carta or white stuff.
Wow, you said that in all one breath. And so when you think about that, you think about 1940 with Japan, and they called the Moorish defectors or something, and they infiltrated the Moorish symbol of America. See, knowing that, yes, knowing that, there should have never been any issue about. There should never been any issue about that. Like, all right, are we on now? I'm on music phone. All right. Would have known, or paralyzed at all. That's enough. No doubt. Yes. All right, I'll try to in here today. All right. So text me and let me know. Because I'm out. I can't use this one either. Could you let me know whether I'm on? This blue thing, what is me on here, man?
You're on.
All right. All right. So I am muted. So if it's blue, that means you're muted. Is that correct on your phone? No, I got a different phone. I'm on. I'm good. All right, I'm good. So we know that. That's out of the Zodiac Constitution. All right. In fact, do you have one available over there that we can look at? Not yet. Okay. When we get that, huh? You do? You do? You want to read? You want to read that part? So that is why it was said. So now we have to go back and think, well, if that's the case and everything is everything as such, why was there an issue? Because the temples have been, because the movement has been infiltrated, purposely. And those for the most part are are these rappers and well, we're to make sure that the more is really true when it really was and like that. Now the reason I'm going that up is because the reason what has that would be better. Yes, it would, right? And the same one is better. Now, I want to read something to you real quick that has to do with, I don't know which one of these are. What's the strength? Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. You know how to talk about quick thinking. Quick thinking. Now y'all box, now I'm boxing, y'all know I'm air, I think. I got to think it out. I got to get out and move. I got it, but I'll be all right. I'll make it happen. All right. So that being said, let me get myself straight. Are you good now? Which wall, right? Ready? Okay, good. So I have this presentation. Now this may be my life work to a degree. This life I trust will be in home at some point. None of you here. No, it could be something used as a for more, because we all have to be retaught. Thank you, guys. All have to be retaught. Period. And that's why it's also said, not just study how to study, because they did that for you when they took you to school. They just said you study the wrong stuff. They said that all Moorish specifically talking about at that time the second month of a school, so that we wouldn't be here finding out about stuff that we often have to fight each other about just because we weren't taught that in school. So now we got the first thing you got to do is fight about the facts. Yeah, you get people such as RVBey publications and others who can find the facts, post them for you. Now we still have an issue because of the mental slavery that you must come out of in order to receive the information on the solid foundation. Well, so if we can understand what's happening, it's good, right? That's what's happening. Now, some people don't want to come back to this effect because we've been gathering them to argue with those who have this push and the degree of evolving, or not evolving, a degree of knowledge that we have to partake in order to stand on the square that we need to stand in. So some are not going to stand before you and having success. Doesn't mean that they don't care. It doesn't mean that they can't. It doesn't mean that they're not watching the things either. And it doesn't mean you need to know who they are, because it's not about who, it's about that thing. So with that being said, we look at the work the Bible says you are doing. And like we know, I don't care what you want to say about them. It's not about personal. That's personal. We got to make everything. And the only reason we do this is because we transport part of the trash in order to have the pure water of knowledge. So I'm not saying that to say I'm just nothing because I can't. Only you the first life or fight that can feel you get for show information, we from us or from whatever. And you know, we really surprised, but really, we really want to stay because it's hard to see through the computer. Because how do we do that computer? So what does that mean? It's the values, as was stated in the beginning. Who needs to have food? So that doesn't mean that because that didn't happen, that we still need them today and tomorrow. And then again, that's more than I said more than half of that. Because I have for those who understand that unfortunately I wanted to go this well because but because my people change. Period. And that's why it's possible. That's why. Not see want to see it happen, but it's all good because I made one of the something that's mom side. We just have to you never stop. You're generations of people who don't have the knowledge to stand on the throne. It's not, and never will. Each woman comes here with enough cash on the top 8 months. Not one, only, not one child, not even some people out, or people, but a whole family. And all the men want to live, so the purpose would be Christian. All the men want to live to be Christian. Without self-preservation, you will sacrifice experience on this planet, on this earth, period. It's your experience. You're going to have it. We fight with us. But anyway, point about Christian, let me consider just try to good at Constitution, the portion, yes, the portion where it says that about the military. You don't want to read it? You can read it. We can find it for you. I don't care who reads it. But we were talking about why. Oh, it's not listen. It's some sort of different conversation. It's the shortest. It's seven. Divine. How many articles in the organic constitution all the time? Seven days. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's called the seven. Could you find it? Would you like to read it? All right, but I need you to do it my friend because I don't have to. All right. Now, this is related
Islam. Article 3 of the Zodiac and military exemption for Moorish America, the Beys and Ill. The Moors referred to as Negroes definitely can never become members and citizens of the Union Society of the 48 states. Therefore, they cannot be forced or drafted into the Union U.S.A. Army or military service to fight for the Magna Carta code of the white supremacy against themselves. The lawmakers of the 48 states union order cannot force the Moors, the Beys and Ills to pay the taxes because taxation without representation is a supreme violation of the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, birthright of Islam. When the union lawmakers denounce their immoral Magna Carta or Charter code and resort to the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, the Moors are compelled to pay taxes because everyone of the nation will be equally represented by it. There is no room in the science of masonry, open parentheses, the zodiac, God, religious worship, race, color, ignorance, war, crime, slavery, and human injustice. Which one?
Islamic, thank you. Oh, that's yours. I don't know. All right, so did you hear that? Now, did you hear what he said? No, representation without representation. Well, that means that this is not, that is not your government. And if you know it's not, because you know they take over on phone. You know that they're not the American website. You already know this. You know you were already here. So, when he said, now, we heard the Mantis language we have about it. When it says no taxation without representation, right? Do you know what some people would do? They would want to join in the Constitution, law of the land organic, it says if you are an African citizen of the U.S., right? They're like, oh, well, see, they don't want to make good citizens. That's the lack of knowledge. That's what that does. What you get read, what we get read, you know, does it? Huh? No. Because you can't do that. That was the job. They told this over here, and people that they said, oh, right, I have got a remote house. Yeah, I do. Now, some of you may think it's a portion of this, but I have perfected it. I've never gone through it in its entirety because I'm always editing it, and I know I'm going to leave it for posterity. And then I'm going to do another one on astrology. I have not about astrology. People saying, oh, yeah, you know, you're doing European astrology. Excuse me, what the hell is European astrology? They got it from us. See how we can't even teach each other anything without the divisiveness, because we need to feel, I don't know, fit in important. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But there's no such thing as that. I will say this, there's a lot of European women and some of us that are fixing it on astrology. They're following it, they're utilizing it, and they're giving their interpretation, which is, of course, based on their knowledge. What's yours? I can interpret something, you can interpret something based on your knowledge. That's another thing, based on your knowledge. So, this is assignment. How much time did you put in to teach? You can teach whatever you know, of course, but how much really? And to argue about it, fight about it. We didn't even deal with it before because we were dealing with the Christian thing, and I don't want to offend anybody when I say that. Except that these modern Europeans, you must really accept that they are only practicing their religion. Do you do? Their religion is all Islam. They are only practicing their religion. That's a fact. How you doing, brother? That's a fact. Am I right? What does the Bible say? Declare your nationality and your religion, right? Now, there should be a whole other class, and I know we've done some on sister sin and on law, when I talked about the star code and stuff. I broke down a little bit about why, what that is. The Christian movement is, this, the food celebration this year, it's doing it with COVID, you know what I mean? All right. But the truth of the matter is that practices of religion, what they have a right to do. But why are you going to let them practice it on you? Because if you read the info of Paradise Latino, the we put together, however, it is a true captured documented of their mind intent that the streets kill anyone. First of all, since they found brown people here, right? That's just American, right? They found brown people that document to that, right? When they got here. And then it wasn't either their purpose was to convert their Christianity to their what God did in their faith. As if we didn't know who got to work like Jesus was. Assumptions, right? And everything that's done this thing is based on assumptions you don't know yet. Or assumptions of arrogance that they can't. Or of assumptions of their desire to be free because they were the first slaves. So the Indicator Divina, which is their Christian divine attack, is to kill you if you don't convert to what they want you to be. In terms of, religion. So right there, that tells you that's not your religion. But I know many of us do, even the prophets some of the good ones in the church, because of the intent that they have, of course. But, so this is why we say Christian, not to accept. Now, when you're into church, and let's say people get married, which is the only marriage is the one that's in the eyes of divine law, really, truthfully, is the truth. There's no man, woman, child, or children married you. The same happen on natural law. Can they witness your avowment or obligation, or even your spoken word to another? Yes, if you should so set that up. But they can't do it. So it's always a third party in it. Because that's a part of the institutions, the Christian institutions that have been established and have been closed upon you. Right? So now we have more than I've seen over the years who say, I don't want to have nothing to do with this. And they got to more than they want to fancy. And so they want to throw away the whole system. They have to like that. And, they want to throw it away. Okay, fine. Something. So this is, I can't see the arrow. Is that what we do? This one? It's off. Yes, fine. It's off. Okay, so welcome to this presentation in association with RVBey Publications and Moorish Public. You got it? Thank you. Yeah, well, that was good. That's all good. Why you hold me? Do you mind bringing the store and put them over here on this table? That's all right. Now I can see it better. So my way I get right in the head. OrangePublicRecords.com and NHH. This is considered MHH final call to. That's what I call it. Now, originally I wanted to call this the people about family services. And I know, wait a minute. The reason I was saying family services is because I want you to know that these people aren't your family. They have no business here with family services. They're not the family. And everybody knows this now. Generations later. Now you go into the hospital, have a child, and they take the child before you come out of the hospital. Why do they do that? How do they do that? Because they come up with something, anything, it doesn't matter. Something's wrong with the child, or this, that, and so therefore, you can't take the child. Whatever it is, they can come up with some word, this law, when that has nothing to do with your Moorish, like fine. So, no, that was not. That's a word. But they'll say to you for shit. And before I talk to a lot of folks, the family folks. And then you sit here and talk shit. That's not. See, why don't you know? And if you think that that's not going to be worse, you're wrong. Because many people, especially this one, and many listening and many across the nation, are getting it to the bill and they're calling them, they're telling them to get around and thinking about you. That's wrong. In a nutshell. Now, so then I said, now I'm talking about family services, court, and other programs and institutions. To one, these courts and programs are not certified or active functions, nor are they under state law. They are implemented by courts. Get that? Let's go on to that. Here's the people tape right here in the way where everything in life is mathematics, everything. You know? No, it's okay, thank you. I should know that. My iPad. All right. So now I'm just gonna read this. If I can get to this may be a two-part thing, I know what it is, but you know what? I'll put it together. I'm just gonna start it and finish it with that. I could get to I believe it's channel number because of 936, I'll be good. The law of the state finds the powers and the functions of the state to be measured by its principles and articles and has priorities and determinations to the state. The states must conform to all national purposes and constitutional provisions. I know some of y'all say, well, that's not like that good. Why? Well, keep telling me. What it is. Bottom, that must be it. But here we are. Can you make it a little bit smaller, Dave? Just bring it in a little bit because it's cutting off the bottom. All right. So, that is truth number one, that they're not sticking to there's a focus. Truth number two, under this, states and state government entities have a derived authority, which is the American National Constitution of 1791, which is the organic law of the land, that describes the limitations of the state and any state enclave operated on the land, i.e. the state agency known as family services, the court, whatever they're called. So what about state law? Is your question, I think. What about it? See, if I could go like that, it's just a minute. I couldn't do this. You have to go closer and further away. Well, it's just cutting off a little bit. Some of it is very thick, but that's great. Just bring it in just a tad. I mean a tad. Just a tad, so that I can, when I have the notes on the bottom, the leaves to the next one, I can see them all. My left. This one. It only give me one. All right, we good. I actually didn't want that side panel on the area. Relax. Thank you. Thank you. Very much. Okay, so state governments are but trustees with a derived authority, and that's the case law. They want to go over it, right? Now, so what about state laws? What about it? Of course, we know there are none, but what about it? How do we know? Article 6 of the Organic Constitution, this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof. That means that they're made within the confines of what this Constitution says. All right? And all treaties made or which shall be made. That means all treaties that are already made, right? And the ones that shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be what? The supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything that is in the Constitution or laws of any state that is to the what? Contrary? What does it mean? It means it doesn't have standards. So the first thing is that you have to know that the Constitution was to understand when it was being violated against you. Is that correct? Can I get a billion time on that one? Thank you. That's first and foremost common sense logic. No way out there. So, okay. But they will ask you, but they don't have to. So now here's the thing. If you want to say that, the speech of faith, the same way, and so do you thought that it was not recognized when you've been violated. What do you think the proof of faith of violence that you suffer for? What do you think they would do when you decide to stand up and say, "Well, I'm good now"? You think you know? So what do you have to do? You have to study to show yourself approved. Period. And it's going to wonder I study. And I was going to say, well, study the law constitution, right? So I would say that this is why you can't be able to find the body. Attorneys need to represent people in a generation as a senator, as a senator, as a senator, and say, I am not sure they don't. Yes, so that's the deal. If you don't know the law, you can't recognize when you've been violated. Show yourself approved by at least knowing it. Generation after generation after generation after generation have done just that. Now, I will say this last night. That's the importance of having good vision. That's the importance of speaking for yourself. So, but you know what? Let me make it easy. Alright, so here, two number three. Know the difference between a state constitution and a national constitution. 3A, you must know when the constitution is good, maybe to be fighting, and you must know your standing right now. You can stop, right? You can say, yeah, I'm good. You know, hey, 15 months. Don't know check. Matter of fact, so the way the Constitution, because you know that's they're violating, but you see why? Because you're giving them the food to do stuff. So, well, I want you to listen. Okay, click one now. Are you sure? Any click? Thank you, click. Oh, now click. Thank you, dear. I never put it on like this. I always use it but I do like to take the side down, but then sometimes I like to couple of the shit that I didn't put it. So we said, and no, you need to know what is not. Correct? All right, follow me. Two. standard, no matter no status. So, standing is synonymous with status. It's synonymous with right. It's synonymous with what is your status? Let's read it. Status. The standing, the state, or the position being social position. It is the legal relation of an individual to the rest of the community. God. That also relates to the right, the ability, the capacity, and the incapacity which determine a person to a activity. It is a legal, personal relationship. It is not temporary in its nature, nor is it determinable at the will of the party. Now, y'all feel that? All right. Which first and the whole state are concerned. While the party was while the time is it is not a why? Because it also means a state, since it also signifies position or circumstances in which one stands in regard to his property. Y'all want to go out and property property? It already is. But now let's go. You know, again, so like read, study, look up the word, we are not that called studying. Somebody has a hand up? Yes. So without answering the question he said about the difference between state and county. All right? Because it's in here. Someone's like, break up. Follow. And then when you're done with all of them, so we need to play for the about okay, so what's happening room is that cookie can be terrible. Is it stop? I'm getting that message too. Here we go. Under the United States Republic Constitution of under the United States Republic constitutional system of government and upon the peace as intelligence of the citizens, the state does not own to control what that means. Because okay.
faith amongst each other. The faith does not claim to follow one concept to others. That means that I can take myself to myself. That means you want to really want to solve God. And he's all going to set himself. Take on his relationship. I am law. It's law. I am law and master of self. And so as we said earlier, well, maybe where we would say that, well, maybe you see? Alright? So now we're going through, let's not move this. Standing is the same as status, as right, as title, as interest, as a state. Break it down. It's state relates to any instance which anyone has in what? Land or in subject or any subject of property. And a state is land, tenement, and your club. I mean, with the mama gave, that's it. Those are her values. And signifies such interest in the text, such interest in framework. The same reviews and connected with the words right, title, and interest, and it's held as synonymous to law. Status, standing, right, title, interest, state. So they will work. But you know, they caught us, so the state says, that's good. So let's talk about it. Like knowledge. Often the stuff for, like knowledge. Hereditary are any and all species of property that in man, real or any and all my children worry. Kennedy ball says and so purpose. So he's still we got to go down to the Sheridan building like people do, or than it was when we fought. When we fought. So, it says corporeal, correct? So what is corporeal racism? Corporeal. Hereditaments which are visible in person. This will take us right back to birth. What is incorporeal hereditaments? Hereditaments which are not in themselves or in itself physical warfare. And incorporeal hereditament being a hereditary right, coming into the birthright, an interest, or an obligation. And believe me more, we had an option. And believe me more, we thought. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? What's it? The words, all right, y'all, so far. The words lineal heirs, like heirs of the body. Lineal heirs means that. The word lineal heirs, like heirs of the body, is children. They're lineal heirs. Oh, by the way, all of this is not a, along with I can get put where it is up the top of the we need to but also you for your own sake, look up all of this. You might not be able to put it all together like that, but look it up on the text. That's graphic stuff. That's where it comes from. So the word lineal heirs, like heirs of the body, meaning all lineal descendants to the remotest posterity. All this descendants to the remotest posterity. And the one now is whatever you oh, posterity. Or whatever like that. Did you know they're all there for more some of your own the two records as well. That's what that all of the discussion and all of the this is not new. None of this is new. Let's look at all this stuff right here. And nobody can tell you. You'll see in a second here. So, the word lineal heirs, like heirs of fine, and these children mean all lineal descendants to the result of posterity and are words of what? Of what? Say it loud. Thank you. And what? And not of coaches. Did you hear that? You are the question
That's why I call it part of Boston. This is it. This is what you're going to need. You have to put it. Whether you meant to be there, whether it's your fault or not, doesn't matter. The reality is facing the condition of and keeping with the fault. That's what's important. So you be told. But I didn't tell you. It's always it's a concentration on not to stuff. Very. If we start talking about what people get, I'm going to go in and I'm going to see them, I get money. No, they don't have money. You're not thinking about prosperity. You're thinking about the little baby right there. Or the one in your womb. Or the one that I think is. Or even your sister with your mother. But I'm going to tell you why. Because we call it climbing up a ladder. Corporate ladder is what that's what part of that is. You got to climb up a ladder. That's why there's a focus and disconnected and can't take to the little bit. That's the real deal. When it's real, you know it's real. Right. I mean. All right, so here's the deal now. So the word lineal heirs, like heirs of the body, is all lineal descendants to the remotest posterity and are words of inheritance and not a portion. Congress is about to so far, I know in regards to this. Because they make a fool of you with 2 million stuff. Remember, he's a fool in the most. Alright, so now I just put reference here, reference source of law, and every table of black laws, the scenario of the molecules. There's probably page 1079 definition of law. So wait a minute, wait. So the question was, so what is the exception? Our ancestors, we made it through. And what has been done by them, period. Nothing more, none less. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't hang that. Don't hang that. This is what we the that are passed down to you as an inheritance. And you've been sitting on it, I know. That's what it says. This is why that's something that it's been possible what the group say and expose God too. And why do you talk so, ancestral aspect, when we say ancestral, related to ancestors is what has done by the series. Ancestral aspect. We know what it's saying. So, our son as our kids is by us to and what? Not by this.
or such as are acquired in the therefore by offensive law, really not with the all right, we'll see the same food and to say 5%, and then everything is set, right? Right? Not person or divide from my now that is the or by a key. Now I have and not all right? Of actual kids. Well, I really want, and then, my grandmother was also do this, and I know so I was leaving that to the disease, but it was not. He could buy. I was dying. So here we go. Out there again. And by and there was remembrance still was fun. But you still could be whatever that what you call Bible name is really a family name. So it's still a family natural family. We are one family. Definition of land. Now, you didn't say man is includes not only the water, but also the body nature of this good food or body or the whole time. Hold on. All right. Man includes not only the water, but also the permanent affection of founder and whatever by nature as water, as food, as grass, as fruit, other natural or renewable products, growing crops and seeds, mineral water resources, or what has single salmon as a thousand actual you don't understand by the hand of man as millions six basis versus the brother what the use of water. You will get you are so when you work the That's when the woman said that it's not their particular period. So now let's wait. Now, okay, why? Well, that's what you can look at what is going to happen because we got technology is called XP. It is an aspect drive that fuel underlying fuel that will pay the fuck. No. Hear this well. Hear this and hear this well. Let me make sure we still happening. All right. Hear this and hear this well. The key is what it is you don't know that the Father for you a Right. So, now, so we're not friends that a big on the condition, the condition where the state plan of the land or inheriting wherein or whereas the land of the state will inherit or by whatever or what the woman whatever, whatever is possible, what one self created or planned to come to a state of wow. You're not, you're not, the real, so that's what I was that so that it can be used on food. And I'm not at the door. Not on the I can check it out. There it is. Now, hold on. So now, we got more Amexem. Now, because it's been called these things over here. And then if you walk back, so go on there to the American land and check your state. Oops, that's not the one. I gotta go back to that. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. I need to put that. How do I put that? Huh? Oh, previous. Oh, yeah, I catch it. I did want to add something. I just want to add. There is no fault on your part that serves some other use for you. Reference to the law, the Holy Quran, 424, and or somebody 283. Claim your nationality and your religion because it protects you. They're practicing their religion. It's called Christianity. Yes, well, actually, it's not about. Yeah. This is nature's law, nature's God, nature's word, the nature's law. Islam. You should probably protect the law and guarantee all cases, the consciousness. Now over here, it says that I want
to throw that in there because none of these people, they all affirm what each other says. They don't create it. They affirm it. In fact, right through the bottom, and therefore they must pray. But they take off because all the people that the battery will go. There's no people that my country, they're going for. I'm going to enforce that because they're not courts of law. They're not even courts of record. That's how much they have duped us. All right. So that's it. Or yeah. I hope the husband is added it to this. This is a verbal one. Okay, you go hard. It's verbal. Now don't get wrong. Don't think about verbal. But that is a topic. So and there are a lot of problems people are speaking on all four corners of the earth. What is the Father's will to spread the news to all four corners of the earth, of which you are you can't go anywhere without finding so you are the linear between the most possible civilization and the learning principle or the character also with the final no so of what they call active woman person. They name them usually because this was the type of office type there. So here we have this fact in holding the life. But guess what? This is the one that I'm going to tell you this is the politics, but I had to bring this into this is not politics. And then you see the politics with the arrow, you know. Yeah, that's really tough, right? Because it really doesn't matter. Just to do it just come back. There's no practice. Only the line, but it is. You can just fall down and so the church, Christians don't they fight that's why the 37 homes starts off with a 6 for all those who got. And this is real. And then you start reading some of the experiences that he had. They don't, we don't concentrate on that. But they were things like I said, after dog, right? Every community dog, right? A dog, right? But then he stepped up. And the more so what you just came out of the cooler, and he talked, When you and no, yeah, they now I and have problems, and they start to scared and depend on the children and all that. Because I'm not you know, I'm but all of them it's really what you just need the third party what people we I mean, so it's a third party fund. And that's all. But you don't want to when you try to get to the divorce, you're only offering to stick to contract. You're not being terminated. You're also doing it. Also doing it. Also doing it. That's why it's never ended. All right. So moving along. That's quick. Oh, definition of American going in now and ever we for one of the very top of COVID found on American property. You have it on the site and it's everywhere. All you do is look it up. Sure. We do the review. That's okay. I'll come back to you. Thank you. It's not. It's not on that. So Venus is the ruler of Maya or women, right? Okay. That's yeah. And all right. Yeah. All right. I got 15 minutes to do this. Okay. I did this today. Remember on the I'm showing you today. Remember on the okay. They think it was the other one. Now I don't know why. There it is. That's the one. Now I actually see what I just said. So there it is for that. So going for so yeah. What are they? The algae is from photos. Are you seeing that? No, I mean, you're not going to that, but some of these people are all people. Aboriginal is principle. Although, here's the more pictures, this is some people might say more. This is very old. It's not that. But they have to study the mother. And then, look at this pretty garden out of that. All right, so these are the rappers like you can put that pop on. But I added something there. Oh, yeah, here it is. Got on too. Now they have that. So, when you want to what is when you find the call stuff, so go put a kiss where That's how to put the pieces together. And I had mentioned on the show, the only people that won't be on that boat to Hindustan are the Hindustani and National. They're not going to be on there. But they want to do something to get the people who won't you are a very little youth. Because the first thing is to honor your mother. So we can say, y'all be living back to ourselves. All right, and then the question is, and this I love now, I have to say, this is so much. Well, he just comes down with skin, but you would think like this kind of kind of but this is us. Can you see? It's not an enemy, and so far there it is. This is the best people. So who are you doing now? Who are not? Hold it. I got an almost. Oh, I want to make full do. Previous. And again, previous. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back on this. Uh-huh. All right. Or maybe I'll put you to the policy. These are not, who are not that little involved. These are not the Aboriginal people of the land. You know, this picture came from the congressional records. This picture of are suggested in this view of these are not the Aboriginal. These are black eyes. This is what the real percentage was. And that you are the real percentage. These people are the living descendants of who? Of the original slaves that were brought here by the British Moors, the elders, the plantations, and their company and different stuff. These are American. And guess what? What is just to share all that? But nothing to the land of America. Because their grandmother, grandfather, was not free here. And when we visit the treaties, yeah, what they do, that now that I enter the country of land free, that's there. That's why they can. That is why we can free here. But after this happens, I'm not, I'm going to put this up, but, I outside. No, I wasn't going to put outside. I'm waiting for who the heck needs to go for the department. It's awesome. Howard Island does not hide their truth. And I will take this one to the first one. There are 5 principles. Well, we got 5 principles. 1, 2, 3, 3, and justice. These are their 5 principles. And they're not built to love, truth, truth, and justice. The things that are opposite of it. The first one is conquest. Despite the listen, now listen to this, guys. That strength, the myth that North America lay empty and available for the taking, European explorers encountered, hold on, oh, my little pointer, encountered over 200 different cultures. Both of those people say, I'm racist, I'm Jewish, I'm bad, I'm listening to myself. No, they're just with your eyes. Over 200 different cultures. The ancestors had lived on this continent for thousands of years. How long did the card from? Over 10,000, and in some books they say 50. And we will we'll take 10. Listen to it again. Despite the myth. Despite the myth. Listen to that. Oh, I was telling you folks, they're not arguing. Despite the myth that North America lay empty and available for the taking, European explorers encountered over 200 different cultures whose ancestors, had lived on this continent for thousands of years. Who is not the lineal descendant here? And whose ancestral stated is not there. Boom. Correct. Through armed conflict, Europeans developed, seized the land, and claimed it for sexual myths. They are not the Aboriginal businesses. They are not the myths. They do not hide it. All right, let's be clear. This often entails enslaving, subjugating, or removing Native people to reservations against their will. Disease was an unintended instrument of conquest. Millions of Native Americans died from foreign viruses to which they had no resistance. Excuse me, this is what Vegas, it's all throughout. All throughout. I'm not going to read the file because we're going to come back on it, but, and we got to close, we got to close, I think. So now just, none of these people, they started doing it. They started doing naturalization. They started doing all kinds of stuff, right? Well, first of all, those who came to Alabama to be naturalized and still come today, are naturalized into the American Constitution for the government as citizens / family members under the rule of the United States of America, not American land, not as family members of the Aboriginal America. So you did it. One nation, indivisible, under God. Under, and to the what? Republic for which it stands. It's right there. Nationalization, let's put that while we're at it. The act by which is alien is made a citizen of the United States of America. The act of adopting a foreigner and forming them with all privileges of a new native. There's no more planet that should ever be nationalized at all. So if you're in one of those companies that does that, infiltrate. Who can naturalize? Look, this is a part of the case law definition, man, right here. A nation, hear it out now, a nation or the sovereign who represents that nation may grant to a stranger the quality of a citizen by what? Admitting him into the body of the political society. This is called a war. So they thought but that's the period. Not the whole thing. And then practice something. This is what I told you. But with the finding of the back of the box with the period, all set back. What it is, we play power out of the court. A corporation is a legal restriction. It doesn't exist. Yes, it exists securely, but it is enshrouded in a corporate called corporate veil. The United States is a corporation of remuneration and profit, and so all of the federal and otherwise, and all of the counties, territories, cities, towns, and other subdivisions under the Clear Trail Doctrine 1942, you will see that explained more. So, hey, look, he's coming up that ladder, right? What's that? Corporate. The devil. All right. So my last thing, I got 2 minutes. Do you know the master teacher too? Do you know the maxims of truth? Prophet said, teach them the maxims of truth. These are actual published books that are coming out now. Some of them already been published. This one here, Christian slaves, Muslim masters. This one is called They Were White and They Were Slaves. And the instance is all today. Y'all know she ordered them all. She's right. She probably had finished, well, not all of them. She's on it. She's on it. Here it's called White Slaves, African Masters. This is barbarian cruelty, an eyewitness account of white slavery under the Moor. See how they're telling them women? Don't ask why. They don't like you. That's why. That's a great part of why, but the British Moors really treated them badly and left them here to die, which is why the natives, well, that's they so-called Indians, said they were helping them to live because they were dying, because they left them here to do just that. All right? And so, we have a lot of modern Europeans who want to nationalize into our process. I mean, but they can't, because our papers don't say that. So, dear modern Europeans, thank you for your interest and activity. However, you are not Koreans, Negroes, colored black, or Ethiopians, etc. And you are not the aboriginal people of the land or lineal descendants of Spain. If you were to trace your Islam, you would trace, well, y'all better be careful about that, because y'all giving away your mother's inheritance by having babies with these European daughters, because the condition of the child is based on the mother. That doesn't mean that you don't like Europeans. It means that everybody got to just stay in their place for their nationality. If I got to say mine, that's yours. Now, you think that you're going to give away mama's inheritance? I don't think so. That's why we made a choice for them. Want to let them stay in that place. So that means you can do whatever you want to do, but don't take no falsehood thinking that you're going to give them your mom your family inheritance, because you're not. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have no problem. They would know to be who they are. So don't come and say, well, because I'm a Moorish son and I just had a baby with, no, I had this baby, but I fought and fight. You know what you fight as a child? You don't fight as a child. It means you have now to 1, 2, and 4. That's what it means. Look it up. So you want to say, well, this is my baby, and my mother and my wife, whatever. She's not with you. Well, I don't care what you say. Those babies, I don't care what you just can't do it. You want to do it like national, or national. You smiling on those stuff or doing that crazy stuff. Why? Or that we don't know what we're talking about. So yes, they'll let you continue to do it. Give it with your mama's stuff. Give it with your family's stuff. So that's what you're supposed to do. Because I don't care what you say, that's not relevant to the fact that the condition of the child is based on the mother. Period. That's national, international, maximum law. So if you need to feel that way, that's not the law. You know, you feel what I'm talking. So that doesn't come. That does not come with it. That's just no smoke of you. Just like I said, I see you with the law of creation. It's not that. So obviously, you want to do what the prophet said. You know what? Nazareth is the path to live. Look, does that mean that you can't do it if you want to? But just don't get it twisted. Don't give away mama's stuff and talk about how crazy mama is. But now, she got things in a whole form in order to get things down off. You know what I mean? Or some institution, if you take it down, you're not getting the same kind of respect. See how we are. Because you don't answer. And these people are that. So with that, let me see people that talk. Oh, and I just say this. I felt the two great for mother, not father. As a firm being actual you will find the I will also as Slavic via the British. So women or came to the other side. We were trying to keep it out there as partner of the American forecast the Andes women taking forward down and pass the people handling to get it what they find. Wherein it was named corporate Puerto Rico because it means port of riches. And it means Puerto Rico is do not have enough land to say today. But for our house to go, I was going to go, the averages, I know my favorite time, and justice, and decisions, and our house, especially so everything can go to forever. They can go to forever because that's the way. But one of the people say, so something that I have and when we have to back to the back to the right? Right? That's so that's why it's often nonsense that brings them and that is caught in the energy that so people and with more healing, more therapy, than that. Right?
So when the mind is so the people is one of the you get a good practice, right? See, all right. Now, so keep in mind that is where all these people have one month and one month and it will go up. You will unsure but the main is the God following part. God is about it's a pretty fight. He is not a tyrant. Oh, all right. That's what's that? So the free fight is good. So when you go back to the law, you know that that's not there. Yes. Okay, so we done this. We say, so see that. We say, I see that. No, there, that, or free fight. No, it's that free fight. It's like, it's you can't be a silver day on the message, but not God, okay, and that's all my friends said, and brothers, and that, so you want to and go to Adam and Daniel, and learn and take if I can tell you if we want to master in my life, how to take this thing and you have to learn that you are still have faith. You have hope. And you're not equal. You're not I know why. That is where I'm walking in the side of this I'm but they don't have to do all right. Now, there's people and you one person following the power, so they came about now. In the process, the